Many of us go through life with energy, the ability to achieve, and the potential to feel happiness, but we carry a deep inner wound. We don't truly know who we are. This isn't about forgetting our personal history, but rather about lacking a stable sense of self in two important aspects. First, we don't have a solid foundation for our self-worth. We easily doubt ourselves, unsure whether we truly deserve anything or if we hold any real value. Second, we lack clarity in our personal values and perspectives, which makes decision-making and life choices difficult. Without an inner compass, we become vulnerable to the opinions of others. As a result, when criticized or judged negatively, we lack the psychological defenses to protect ourselves. We absorb those judgments as truths, no matter how cruel or unreasonable they may be. On the flip side, we can also become dependent on praise, constantly craving external validation because we can't affirm our own worth. This lack of self-knowledge leaves us lost, relying on how others see us rather than listening to ourselves. When we don't truly understand ourselves, we're easily hurt by others' opinions. If someone calls us useless or inferior, we lack an inner shield to push back or stand firm in our identity. Instead of looking inward for answers, we seek them externally, letting others determine our value. This also leads to an unhealthy thirst for approval. We begin to chase popularity, aligning ourselves with trends that may not reflect our true selves. We laugh at jokes we don't find funny, believe popular yet flawed ideas, and sacrifice personal potential for fleeting admiration. As a result, we lose honest contact with ourselves, no longer trusting our inner voice. Instead, we constantly check to see what the world expects of us, without an internal compass to guide our choices and emotions. We let the crowd dictate what we should think, feel, and pursue in life. To truly know and love ourselves, we must first learn to turn inward, honor our feelings, and build a strong foundation of self-awareness, laying the groundwork for inner strength and confidence. No one is born with the ability to understand themselves independently. Self-awareness is a learned process that begins when we are observed and reflected back by others, usually parents or caregivers, in a fair, sensitive, and compassionate way. When we're young, if someone takes the time to truly notice our feelings, temperament, and responses, and then translates that into gentle, loving language we can understand, we begin to form a stable inner portrait. This doesn't come from grand gestures, but from seemingly small, healing words. For instance, when we cry, a caring parent might say, "That must really hurt," affirming that our feelings are real and worthy of attention. Or on a birthday, instead of insisting we be happy, they might gently say, "It's okay if you don't feel happy today," giving us the safety to be emotionally honest. Ideally, a child is not only seen, but also interpreted with a generous spirit. A good caregiver always strives to see the child as lovable, even in moments of defiance or failure. This companionship lays the groundwork for future self-esteem and self-trust. However, when this process is flawed, when our feelings are misread, interpreted negatively, or simply ignored, the effects can be severe. We may grow up feeling vague, unsure of our identity, or even like we don't truly exist. Realizing that we lack a clear sense of self can be overwhelming and painful. But the good news is, healing and rebuilding are always possible at any stage in life. This journey begins by seeking connection with someone who can truly understand us, be it a skilled therapist or a sensitive friend who listens with kindness and fairness. When we are sincerely and kindly mirrored by another, we begin to observe ourselves more clearly, identifying true feelings and desires we may have denied or never acknowledged. From here, we can gradually learn to take our own side, accept ourselves, and build an inner solidity no longer dependent on others' approval. Once we truly know who we are, we become less shaken by criticism, less starved for praise, and more independent and creative in thought. We're less afraid of disapproval and stop chasing the crowd for acceptance. Instead, we live with inner confidence, knowing what matters to us, and having the courage to live authentically. The journey of understanding and accepting ourselves is deep and requires patience. But once we begin, it opens the door to inner freedom, lasting self-worth, and a more authentic life. One where we don't just exist, but truly become who we are meant to be. As we gradually learn to understand and accept ourselves, something remarkable happens. We stop depending so much on the eyes of others, no longer unconsciously craving praise, and no longer fearing judgment and rejection. We become more grounded, free, and independent in our thinking and behavior. Knowing ourselves helps reduce the need to follow the crowd or live by external standards. We no longer need to constantly check what the world thinks, because inside us now lies a reliable value compass, an internal foundation that guides our decisions, emotions, and actions. The journey to self-understanding is also the journey of befriending ourselves, learning to listen to our real emotions, respect our deepest desires, and steadily stand by our own side. With this strength, we can say no to what doesn't serve us, and yes to what truly matters. Knowing who we are not only brings inner peace, but also makes us more creative, original, and aligned with our true nature. We stop trying to be someone else and gain the courage to live our truth, even when it goes against the mainstream. Ultimately, the journey of self-knowledge is not a fixed destination, but a lifelong unfolding. Every step we take, every pause to listen inward, brings us closer to the real person within, a person who deserves to be known, loved, and fully lived. True self-understanding is not easy, because the most important parts of who we are often lie beneath the surface, in unconscious feelings, past wounds, and unnamed values. That's why exploring these layers takes time, patience, and the right tools. To support your journey, we've created the Know Yourself cards, a set of insightful prompts designed to help you explore the subtle, profound, and often elusive corners of your inner life. Each card is a question, a reminder, or a new perspective that invites you to look at yourself from a place of honesty and compassion. Tools like these aren't just self-discovery exercises. They're a way to build the habit of listening, deepening self-awareness, and strengthening the connection with your true self. With each card, you're invited to pause, reflect, and answer the questions you may never have thought to ask, but which might change the way you live and understand yourself. Knowing who you are, what you want, what you need, and what truly matters. This is not only the foundation of personal growth, but the key to living a meaningful, free, and authentic life. To know yourself is a long journey, quiet at times, but always worth it. It helps us live more honestly and enriches every part of life, from relationships and career to how we face challenges. With clarity and insight into who we really are, we stop living in confusion or chasing someone else's definition of success. We know what brings us joy, what truly matters, and which path is right for us.